All right, so you must have heard it already. Trump won the elections for 2024, beating Kamala. According to Google, it says here he's got about 292 votes, and Kamala has about 224. When we look at the Senate, there's about 52 votes for Republicans, 43 for Democrats. It's not done yet. Still counting is going on. Um, and then the House, we got 201 seats and 186 for Democrats. So it looks like you're getting here a sweep where you're having the House and the Senate being controlled by the Republicans here. So how was the reaction for the markets? What happened here? Well, in the overnight session, when the futures market opened at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we saw that there was a rally in the equity markets. And we're seeing it today, right now, as I speak. It's 3 p.m., November 6th. And we're seeing a rally in the equity markets in S&P, NASDAQ, Russell 2000, and Dow Jones. And you'll be surprised, oh, why is NASDAQ rallying, right? Knowing that Trump had some animosity with some of the big tech companies out there. Now, however, Meta is underperforming because of that. Fears that Donald Trump might come and attack or go after Meta. But we're seeing the other FANG names, the other tech names move up higher. Now, believe it or not, they're going to paint the narrative saying that Trump's against technology stocks, and that's going to be horrible for tech and for NASDAQ. And that's not entirely true. He's actually quite pro tech. He's actually quite pro America and wants a lot of the jobs and the growth to happen in America rather than, manufacturing and jobs being taken away and built and manufacturing happening more overseas rather than in the United States. And you've seen the big tech companies, like for example Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, come out talk about how the Democrats during the 2020 elections were giving him instructions on what to do with the campaigns. Right? There's a full Bloomberg article on this. You could read up on it. So kind of leaning towards, you could see backing off on the hate towards Trump. Right? We also saw Tim Cook, and heard that Tim Cook got on a phone with Donald Trump before the elections, talking about how the tariffs would basically destroy Apple, especially when they're competing against Samsung. And Trump saying that he's willing to not put any tariffs on Apple and willing to work with him so that they could prosper and beat Samsung or be competitive in the market, right? So you have that leniency still from Trump, even though the people will paint the picture that he's going to put tariffs and completely destroy all the companies. No, not really. If you just simply give a phone call to him and explain the situation, he's willing to do that. The only thing he asked Tim Cook to do is just make a manufacturing plant in America. Right? You can still continue to do what you're doing, just make a manufacturing plant or in America and provide some jobs there. So and he said, okay, no problem. Right? So he's working with the tech companies. He's not going and attacking them or against them. Right? He himself also has a tech company. Right? The DJT stock, the Trump media company, the Truth Social. Right? So he's not against social media. He's not against U.S. companies. Right? Which people may paint, the journalists out there may paint the picture and talk negatively about that. That's not really true. So that's why, hence, right, if you don't believe me, just look at the markets here, okay? NASDAQ, it continues to rip up higher. It's very close to making all-time highs. We're at, right now, 20,900 and we're very close to the highs of 21,200 around there, right? So if that was the case, we would see Nasdaq turning around. So that's not the case there. Now we also see Nvidia moving up higher, Nvidia making highs as well. We also see other equities as well moving up higher. We're seeing Dow Jones rip up higher. The U.S. dollar also performed and outperformed during the elections. We're seeing Tesla jump up higher as well, right? So a lot of these companies. So in general, this is positive for equities, and we could see the rally continue, this melt up continue heading into January when Trump comes in, right? So in terms of other markets, when you look at the bond market's under pressure. We're seeing more selling on the long end side, causing those yields to move up and those mortgage rates to creep up higher as well. So that is a little bit of a negative there, but I don't expect that to continue. I don't expect that, yields to be making new all-time highs, especially on the long end. But that could happen, depending on what the market's pricing in, right? Depending on also, we have this week the FOMC meeting. So, but my take is I don't think it's gonna be drastic. It may creep up higher, but I don't think it's gonna break above all-time highs. Now, with those higher yields, that's also causing the dollar, like I mentioned, the US dollar moving up higher and causing other currencies against the US dollar, like the Canadian dollar, to move lower, and the euro to move lower, and all other currencies to move lower. And especially depending on what the Fed comes out and what the Fed says this week, if they're not as dovish as the markets would like them to be, that could basically bring the dollar higher, and that could, against the other currencies, like for example the Canadian dollar, and it's for example Canada, who's out there and cutting rates aggressively, did the 50 basis point rate cut, and continuing to cut rates aggressively. We could see Canada, the Canadian dollar, get worse off against the US dollar. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that continuation happen, especially if Canada continues to be more dovish versus the Americans. Now, last but not least, I want to mention about a very important market, the crypto markets. Okay, so make Bitcoin great again, right? We're seeing Bitcoin completely destroy all-time highs, move up higher. As I speak, it's about to breach 76,000 right now. And we could see this continuation in the crypto market. So this is very positive for crypto. The fact that Trump won, the fact that we're getting a sweep here. This is very positive for the crypto market. It's very positive for Bitcoin. And I wouldn't be surprised if you hit the 80K mark and move up higher with equities, right? So we could see that the Bitcoin market, the crypto market, is in a bull market, and we're seeing that as I speak right now. So how long could that go for? Depends, right? We got November, we got December, and then January will kick in. Does this also mean that the recession's out? Does this mean that crash that we were talking about is completely gone? No, not necessarily. That can all still come, right? We can get so that's still in the cards. The black swan event, the crash, the yield curve steepening further, right? That's still there. It hasn't gone, right? Just because of the elections or Trump, right? Potential of commercial real estate creating the problems, whatever the case may be. So that's why I say that, okay, we could get 2 months of, maybe the equity market's going higher, maybe more than 2 months, maybe the first quarter, second quarter, who knows, right? Nobody knows. But definitely wouldn't be surprising to see S&P 500 hit the 6,000 mark. Wouldn't be surprising to see NASDAQ hit above all-time highs. Wouldn't be surprising to see Russell 2000, Dow Jones hit all-time highs. Bitcoin as well hit all-time highs. And then maybe a correction and a pullback of 20-30% later on sometime in the next year. Sure, definitely, right? We're seeing it around the world. We're seeing with other countries, like for example Canada, the unemployment rate spiking up higher. Fear among the central bank over there as well, cutting rates by 50 basis points. We could see the data deteriorate in America now that elections are out of the way. Data deteriorate in America. The unemployment rate get worse off, rate cuts come in, fuel in, some sort of panic, followed by then the Fed coming, saving the day, cutting rates aggressively, emergency rate cuts, and pumping money back in the system. Hence then saving the equity markets and the crypto markets, right? So we could get a pullback in crypto and the stock market and so on. Again, I don't know when, right? But maybe sometime next year or the year after. And once you get that pullback, both Bitcoin, crypto, equities, and so on, moving lower, then being supported by the central bank, and then we're back to off to the races again, and to the moon we go, right? But until then, until we get more information, we still need more information. We need, next month's data and so on. The last data that came out for non-farm payrolls came horrendous, horrible, right? But let's not take that one report, because that one report has been affected by the labor protest that was happening, and also the hurricanes, right? So we need to see the month after that and the following months for the if that continues to be a trend, and do we get a negative payrolls? I think eventually we will get there, but that last month's payroll, I would disregard that, and I would want to see now coming forward the following payroll reports and the number and the jobs numbers there, and also what the Fed's doing and so forth, right? So lots to take in, but until then, sure, we could get a melt up, continue up, heading into Christmas, the Christmas rally, the Santa rally, right? And then January, maybe things slow down, maybe we'll get a pullback there, and then recession, we'll see, we'll talk about it on the channel. I'll mention it. We'll discuss it. We'll look at the data. We'll look at it together and see how this is all panning and playing now. But this is super positive for crypto. Definitely super positive for Bitcoin. Leads the wave for the 80K mark, maybe even higher, right? We heard Trump is super pro crypto, and especially with the sweep that you have, this is going to ignite a lot of the crypto stocks, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, you name it. So you got Make Bitcoin Great Again coming in, and you got the bull market coming in, all again in the markets here. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, subscribe, hit the like button, bell icon to be notified in the next video, and I'll see you guys around. Cheers and bye.